Right now, Khamzat Chimaev, the Wolf, you've grappled with him. He's got a big fight against DDP, Dricus Du Plessis, someone you've had a lot of rounds with. After feeling both those men, how does that fight play out?
Khamzat is very good at wrestling. He's very good on the ground. The longevity of the fight hasn't been his best. I put a lot of rounds in with DDP, and he don't go away. That's the way DDP goes. He manages to get through, weathers the storms, and he keeps going. That's what champions do, and that's why DDP is on top.
I don't know if Khamzat Chimaev is going to be able to knock him out, and if he goes with the first part of the cardiovascular aspect, where let's get your cardio so good you can go 45 minutes rather than 25. If he goes down that direction, then yes, I think he is going to have to look for a decision victory, winning 3 rounds or more.
Dricus Du Plessis is looking sharp in his latest training camp videos and looks all set to defend his middleweight title against Khamzat Chimaev at UFC 319. The fans can't wait to witness this much-awaited clash as the UFC pros continues to express their thoughts about this matchup. Caio Borralho admitted he was slightly favoring Khamzat Chimaev in a potential matchup with Dricus Du Plessis, though he was quick to acknowledge that betting against Dricus hadn't worked out for him in the past. He said most of him leaned toward Khamzat ending the fight early, possibly in the first or second round, but a part of him also believed that if Dricus could weather the early storm, his size and durability might shift the momentum later in the fight.
What do you think it's gonna take for DDP to stuff the takedowns in here and still?
Bro, this is crazy because I always bet against DDP and he always shut in my mouth. But I'm feeling like this can be a fight as fast as the fight with Khamzat and Whitaker, like finishing the first round or beginning of the second round, you know. 60% of me say that Khamzat will finish this fight like real fast, but 40% says that Dricus, with his size and height and his weight, he's a big guy for the division. I think he can stop the takedowns or even survive the first 2 rounds, and then the fights gets better for him. So I'm 60-40 on these 2 options.
Kenny Florian, while speaking with John Anek, highlighted just how dangerous Khamzat Chimaev is in the opening round. He recalled a conversation with Brian Petrie, who suggested Khamzat might be the best first-round fighter in UFC history, and Florian didn't disagree. He pointed to how quickly Khamzat dismantled Robert Whitaker, noting that whether it's a takedown, a submission, or a knockout, Khamzat can finish fights in an instant.
And Brian Petrie and I were talking about this, but you know, Petrie was saying he's probably the best first-round fighter in UFC history, and he could be right. And people forget, yeah, we just saw him, you know, crush the jaw of Robert Whitaker. Yes, he can do that as well. So he can take it down and maul you. He can submit you. And he can knock your ass out on the feet as well. And he can do it in a blink of an eye. That's how explosive Khamzat Chimaev is.
Kenny Florian said he's especially curious to see what happens if Dricus Du Plessis can survive the early storm against Khamzat Chimaev. He described Khamzat as a whirlwind in the opening rounds, but felt the real test would come if the fight went deeper. In fact, Kenny admitted he'd be more impressed by a decision win from Khamzat than a quick finish, since it would show more depth in his game. For him, the unpredictability of that matchup is what makes it so exciting.
If DDP is able to survive the early rounds against that whirlwind juggernaut in Khamzat Chimaev, that's when the fight gets really interesting to me. And I said this, and I've been thinking about this a lot. If Khamzat is able to win the fight by decision, that would be more impressive to me than in an early finish against DDP. But dude, that fight can go so many different ways. That's what makes this sport and the UFC so intriguing. I can't wait for that day.
Similarly, Brendan Schaub called Khamzat Chimaev versus Dricus Du Plessis a massive fight, especially due to Dricus' size and toughness. He said if Khamzat finishes it early, that's expected, but what he really wants to see is how Khamzat performs in the later rounds. Schaub pointed out that neither fighter has faced someone quite like the other, which makes the matchup so intriguing.
Khamzat's big, right? Khamzat's big. DDP's my size. I don't know if you know.
No way.
You seen the picture of him in Bisping? Bisping's a big dude. DDP dwarfs big. DDP walks around about 240. The first round, you know, of course, if Khamzat wins, and if it ends before 2 rounds, it's Khamzat all day. I would extend that after seeing this to even the first 3 rounds. 4 and 5 is what I want to see. I want to see Khamzat in the 4th and 5th. And if Khamzat's lighting his ass up, because DDP is going to be tough to finish. So if Khamzat's in the 4th and 5th finish him, then you got one. So for Khamzat, it's going to be dealing with that mass.
Who has DDP fought that's even close to that style, that explosive, shoot from 10 feet out, grab you, not let go till he gets what he wants?
That's why it's a great fight.
Oh,
because DDP hasn't fought anybody like Khamzat, and Khamzat hasn't fought anybody like DDP.
Stephen Thompson saw the fight as a real challenge for Khamzat Chimaev, particularly if it stretches into the later rounds. He believed Dricus Du Plessis' strength and unusual style could start to cause problems over time, and felt Dricus had a good chance if he made it through the early pressure.
I think it's a tough one for Khamzat Chimaev. Du Plessis, his awkwardness makes him very difficult to deal with. He's got great grappling. He's a very strong opponent. If he can weather the storm in a five and a round fight, I'm leaning towards Du Plessis. We saw what Gilbert Burns did, but obviously Khamzat Chimaev, he's made some changes. He's evolving. He's getting better. He's strong. Oh man, I would love to see Du Plessis win it. I'm leaning towards Du Plessis because I think it's a very tough fight. Very tough fight. Khamzat's notorious for fatiguing later on in the rounds, and if it's a 5-round fight.
UFC legend Daniel Cormier also talked about Khamzat Chimaev versus Dricus Du Plessis and said people shouldn't overlook DDP just because of his unorthodox style. He joked Dricus fights like Homer Simpson, but still finds a way to win. Cormier admitted DDP surprised him by beating top names and believes he's a real challenge for anyone, even Khamzat.
DDP and Khamzat Chimaev.
Yeah.
Who emerges from that?
The DDP, man, he is something else, bro. For so long we thought he just was bad. He's not. He's really good. He's like really, really good.
Did you ever see that thing with him and like he's like they show like a clips of Homer Simpson like doing everything wrong and somehow winning, and they kind of show like the same.
Good, dude.
That is
bro.
hilarious.
He was just I was like, okay, so Izzy's gonna just counter him. He's too good. And he got Izzy bad. He was all over Izzy. I mean, he put it on Sean Strickland bad.
Yeah.
That last time. Like,
you gotta respect that style.
He's good, man. He's so big, he's so strong, and he's good.
UFC legend Daniel Cormier said Khamzat Chimaev would likely have the advantage early if the fight starts fast, but things could shift if it goes longer. He felt Dricus Du Plessis is built for a full 5-round battle, and the real question is whether Khamzat can keep up with that kind of pace over 25 minutes.
Now, Khamzat, in a sprint, can't stay with him. DDP can't stay with him. But I think if the fight goes long, it starts to get interesting. Because I think Dricus is there for 25 minutes. Khamzat needs to be there for 25 minutes also.
Daniel Cormier feels that after Khamzat Chimaev's dominant win over Robert Whittaker, it makes sense that he's the betting favorite against Dricus Du Plessis. He mentioned the odds sitting around 180 and felt that was fair. Still, Cormier admitted he stopped doubting Dricus after the way he's handled his last few opponents.
Who do you think right now it favors? Because I know you can't make obviously a prediction, but who do you think it favors right now? Because looking at the way Khamzat just disposed of Robert Whittaker.
Robert Whittaker was crazy. So I think, and DDP is gonna be like, what the hell, dude? I think when the line comes out, and I'm pretty sure it's out already, you guys can check it. Khamzat will probably be a favorite. And I think it's because of what you see.
Yeah, minus 180.
Khamzat is minus 180. And I think just when you look at it, that's probably
pretty big
about right. But I don't know, man. I'm done doubting Dricus Du Plessis.
On the other hand, Gilbert Burns views Dricus Du Plessis as a tough matchup for Khamzat Chimaev, especially if the fight goes past the early storm. Based on their training time together, he believes Dricus has the strength and conditioning to push through and take over in the later rounds. In his opinion, the longer the fight lasts, the more it could swing in Dricus' favor.
I train with Dricus a lot. Dricus is actually a very, very good fighter. Crazy cardio, very physically strong. He's a very hard fight to predict. I think Chimaev is going to start very strong like he always do. I do believe Dricus can kind of slow him down, don't get submitted, relax a little bit. But I do believe Dricus, if he get past that first round, I think that's the hardest part. What I think he will do, I think he's gonna pass, and then he's gonna be a nightmare for Chimaev. I think Dricus is a monster, hits very hard, doesn't break, good gas tank. I do believe Dricus is gonna beat Chimaev and remain the champion.
However, Eddie Alvarez leaned toward Khamzat Chimaev because of his raw power and non-stop pressure, but he didn't fully count out Dricus Du Plessis. He saw Dricus as tough, unpredictable, and mentally strong, traits that make him dangerous in any fight, no matter the odds.
I think it's hard to bet against Chimaev for me. The guy's a powerhouse, but I can't pick that. Yeah, Dricus is like this odd character for me. Like I never really, watching him aesthetically, it don't all look perfect. It's very like, it doesn't look, aesthetically it doesn't look good, but he gets the job done. His conditioning's crazy. He's one of the hardest workers in the entire sport, and he finds a way. He's one of them guys who find a way regardless of how it looks. So you can never count him out. But I think Chimaev, if it goes past round 2, Dricus.
Bilal Muhammad also backed Khamzat Chimaev in a potential fight with Dricus Du Plessis and warned fans not to underestimate Khamzat's cardio. While he acknowledged Dricus' awkward approach, he believed Khamzat could dominate if he kept calm early and managed his energy instead of forcing early takedowns.
Who do I got, DDP or Chimaev? Honestly, I mean, I think too many people are counting out Chimaev's cardio. I think where Habib said it best, if he stands up with him and strikes with him, I think he'll do well. DDP is an awkward style, but he does get hit a lot. And he breaks a lot of guys with fatigue. If Chimaev doesn't come out super hard in the first round, trying to take him down and letting out all his energy, I think he'll be fine if he keeps it standing. And then maybe the later round, you try to wear on him a little bit, but you don't want to go out for that kill in the first round. And DDP just plays defensively. He's strong, obviously. And then you end up burning yourself out for 4 rounds. So he needs to be smart, especially in this 5-round fight. But I got Chimaev. I think Chimaev's a lot crisper on the feet and definitely crisper on the ground.
Movsar Evloev showed full confidence in Khamzat Chimaev, saying Dricus Du Plessis wouldn't be able to deal with the wrestling. He brought up Khamzat's performance against Robert Whittaker as a clear example of what he's capable of and believed the pressure and strength Khamzat brings early would be too much for Dricus to handle.
Who do you think wins that fight between DDP and Khamzat?
I don't think that Du Plessis is wrestling even close to Khamzat. When we watch fight with Whittaker, he just take him down and he just like break him. So nobody did this against Whittaker before. And Khamzat still have big power of punching, right? He can just turn off your light by one punch.
Yeah, but DDP looked crazy strong and big in his last fight against Sean Strickland. Khamzat's not a really big 185er. He's got to be like 190 pounds fighting at 185. He's cutting to 5 pounds.
He even bigger than Du Plessis. Yeah.
No way.
Of course he is, bro. He's big. He's big and strong as hell. Yeah. I don't know how much it's in pounds, but he more than 100 kg.
Meanwhile, Jared Cannonier chose to stay neutral, saying he no longer likes making predictions. He felt both Khamzat Chimaev and Dricus Du Plessis have elite abilities, and the outcome could go either way. For him, the focus was on enjoying a high-level matchup rather than choosing a winner.
I don't favor none of them. I don't favor anybody. You know, I've come to the conclusion that I just can't not pick fights. You know what I mean? It's just not. It's nothing. Something that I never liked doing, but especially after the Adesanya fight, because I was pretty confident that Adesanya was going to be able to do what he was doing in the first round and win the fight. But he was doing what I thought he was going to be able to do, and still lost the fight. So yeah, both of those guys have tools, and I'm sure they're going to both employ their tools to the best of their ability. The question is going to see who's going to be the one to prevail. I don't know, but I'm excited to see.
Darren Till was confident that Khamzat Chimaev would stop Dricus Du Plessis in under 2 rounds. He pointed to Khamzat's power, mindset, and work ethic as major advantages. Although he gave Dricus credit for being awkward and gritty, Till felt Khamzat was simply on another level as a fiiter.
If I went back to the UFC now, as the middleweight I could be, I'd fucking tear that Dricus' head off. Tell Dricus I said fuck him, by the way. The little fucking gobshite. Because I can't stand his guts, because he's so shit, he's so good.
You think he beats Khamzat, your boy?
No, look, I'm with respect, I'm never going to look past Dricus because he trains hard, he's super dedicated, he's super strong, and he's got that awkward style that doesn't make any sense. I think Khamzat will beat him inside the 2 rounds. I really do believe that. But look, Khamzat knows. I was speaking to Khamzat on the FaceTime the other day because I'm meant to be going out to Dubai to help with the camp. Khamzat knows it's a tough fight, but, you know, Khamzat trains like a beast. I do think Khamzat gets it in 2 rounds done. Do you know what I'm saying?
By the way, you're looking svelte. You're looking great. How much are you weighing right now?
Everyone's been saying that, you know, that I'm looking fabulous.
Yeah, you are.
Ariel, let's just go. Do I look fabulous?
I think you look fabulous. The teeth are just like blinding me. I wish I was wearing sunglasses right now, but you're looking fit. Way fitter than the last time, right?
Yeah.
I thought you were going to show me another thing there. It was getting very low, the camera. It was weird. It was uncomfortable.
Whoa. Only my missus gets to see that, Ariel. Don't be disrespectful.
Henry Cejudo also praised Khamzat Chimaev's skill set and said he has what it takes to beat anyone, especially after dominating Robert Whittaker. But he also pointed out that Dricus Du Plessis could be a much bigger challenge. He was impressed by DDP's ability to keep pushing at a high pace and said, if a fighter isn't ready for a full 5 rounds, Dricus can wear them down. Cejudo admitted he once saw Dricus as unpolished, but now sees his pressure and volume as a real danger.
Does Khamzat beat DDP?
Man, Khamzat could beat anybody in the world in about a round. It's super impressed with what he did to Robert Whittaker. I don't see that against DDP. DDP's scrambling, man. You're gonna need to really be able to pace yourself for 5 rounds. And with DDP's train just continue to keep rolling and he's still steaming and his train's still hot. It depends on how long DDP wants to take a break. You're gonna have to prepare, man, for a guy like DDP. You're gonna need a 3-rounder or a 5-rounder to get ready, but I don't see it. I just don't see it. I think DDP's too, I used to think he was the sloppiest thing on planet Earth, and I thought the same thing about Rob until they bring that volume and just the tenacity that changes everything.
Kamaru Usman viewed Khamzat Chimaev versus Dricus Du Plessis as one of the most exciting matchups on the schedule. He anticipated a high-energy clash between 2 top-tier athletes and believed it could turn into a memorable war that fans would talk about for a long time.
Khamzat Chimaev, an incredible fighter, very, very, very tough fighter. You know, has been hit with a few tests. Obviously, you know, myself, obviously Burns. So, and he's passed. So, I'm excited to see how that fight goes with himself and Dricus Du Plessis. I think that's a phenomenal fight. Both guys tough, extremely tough. So, that's one of the fights I'm looking forward to the most this year.
Furthermore, Luke Rockhold believes the battle between Dricus Du Plessis and Khamzat Chimaev will be decided more by grit than skill. He sees Khamzat as a fast starter who needs to take control early, especially with his wrestling, but if Dricus can weather that early pressure, Rockhold feels the momentum shifts in his favor. In the later rounds, he leans toward Dricus as the one more likely to push through and come out on top.
It's not always about the most technical guy, you know, it's the guy who wants it more. And
how do you think he fares against Khamzat?
I think Khamzat is a go for broke kind of guy. Khamzat, if he can't out wrestle you, he can't control you in that fierce state of direction of what he does, you know, I think he'll break. Khamzat will get him if he'll get him, but if he can't get him, it's going to be a hard 3rd, 4th, and 5th round.
Right.
I think that's going to be all Dricus.
So if it goes into the championship rounds, you like the champ?
Yeah, 100%.
Former champion Jamahal Hill also weighed in on the Khamzat Chimaev versus Dricus Du Plessis matchup, noting that Khamzat tends to fade in the later rounds like he did against Kamaru Usman. He felt the striking between the two is fairly even, but gave Khamzat the edge in grappling technique. Hill also praised Dricus for his strength and ability to win gritty fights, which is why he sees this as such an intriguing clash.
Yeah, I've seen Chimaev fades towards the end of fights. As we've seen with the Usman fight, I think if the Usman fight was 5 rounds, I believe Chimaev might lose that fight. You know, the striking, I believe, is kind of like neck and neck, but from what I've seen as far as like the grappling, I believe Chimaev is the more technical, well-rounded grappler, if you will. And but Du Plessis is strong for that weight class. So it's an interesting match. I think it's an interesting match that it can, you know what I mean? So we're gonna see. They've been saying since the beginning Chimaev was destined for title and for championship. So we're gonna see if he can get it done. I can't doubt Du Plessis, bro. Every time any questions that I've ever had or any doubts I've ever had about him, comes out and he wins.
TJ Dillashaw believes Khamzat Chimaev's success against Dricus Du Plessis will come down to conditioning. He warned that if Khamzat isn't fully prepared to go the distance, things could get rough in the later rounds. In his view, Dricus doesn't slow down and will keep applying pressure, so Khamzat needs to be ready to match that pace to come out on top.
How are you going to train Khamzat Chimaev to beat DDP?
Cardio. I just don't think he has the gas tank. If he doesn't finish DDP, to win the fight. Because he's good. He's strong. His grappling's better. He's got good technical striking. I would put a lot more money on Chimaev if he trains the right way for his cardio. If he doesn't train his cardio the right way, I think it's going to be hard for him to put DDP away, and DDP's going to get him in the later rounds and pass him out. DDP ain't going to get tired.
That wraps up today's video. Let us know what you think about the Khamzat Chimaev versus Dricus Du Plessis matchup in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more updates on this highly anticipated showdown.